Hello, my lovable misfits. How are you doing? Welcome to the first video and review of this channel. There are a few things I need to clear up before we start. Number one, I am reviewing the anime. I haven't read the manga. I have a long list of manga I want to read. It's on it, I promise. Number two, this is just for the first season. I am really behind on stuff, but I'm trying to catch up. Number three, I am coming at this thing from a writing perspective. Stands to reason since I'm a writer. Number four, the comment section below is for you. Just know that if you're rude, everyone will see it, and I don't delete comments. Just spam.
I don't like spam!
Number five, I will be giving my opinion on characters, models, and palettes, animation, art and shading, story, tropes, possible plot holes, and I will be giving it an overall rating. Number six, if by any chance you haven't watched this anime, let me find that video clip. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
Spoilers.
Meet our young protagonist, Suzuki Iruma. He's 14 in the first season, and he has to be the unluckiest person in the anime. Why? Well, his parents are so lazy, they have him doing every job they can sign him for. And did I mention they sold him to a demon for money? No? Well, that's what happened. Of course, he doesn't know this until the demon in question, who we will cover in a minute, comes to get him while he's dodging fish in a cargo hold. As can be imagined, he doesn't understand a word coming out of the demon's mouth until the demon casts a spell. I mean, how else are you going to understand the demonic language, right? Right. This is where I mentioned he needs to stay on the down low because he will be eaten if he is discovered as being human. Well, that's what he was told at any rate. So what disadvantages can a human in the demon world possibly have? He's as mundane as a brick for one thing, not a magical bone in his body. The second one is that he can't fly. He has no wings, none. Not even a ring that needs a lantern to help out. The other disadvantage? When you ask him nicely to do something, or you beg, the poor boy can't say no. He's an absolute pushover, poor thing. You're probably wondering by now if Iruma has anything going for him. Yep, one thing. There's nothing this kid can't dodge. I mean nothing. Nada. Zip. I like this kid. As far as pro tags are concerned, he's not bad. I believe this would be an isekai. His background story is simple, and simple can be good. He's pretty well balanced and not overpowered in his new world. He's got hurdles as big as the Chrysler Building, but he's managing. So you've got to give him credit. He's got a solid model, and the uniform is, well, a uniform. Many school uniforms have the same color palette. I love the way he's animated, and his expressions are great too. Take some loneliness, mix in money, power, and being envious of other demons who have children and grandchildren, and you have Lord Sullivan. In the typical anime style, he comes off as goofy, flippant, and a prankster. He also has a side of him that makes those who know him very leery and nervous. When it comes to Iruma, take any doting and spoiling a grandparent typically does and crank it to 11. There is nothing he will not do for his new grandson. You can't be at this level and be oblivious or naive. He knows darn well the fire into which he's thrown Iruma. I almost forgot to mention he's the chairman of Iruma's school, which tends to rub some people the wrong way, as you might think. I am not gonna lie, he reminds me of Spirit Albarn without the horny factor thrown in. He's goofy, eccentric, and overall lonely. So wanting a grandkid isn't out of the question for him. However, he is trying to keep up with demons who already have children and grandchildren. So the selfishness of a demon is there. I get the impression the doting is as sincere as his spoiling, but I can't help but think the motive was purely self-gratifying. In any case, this isn't a badly written character. His model is what I would expect from an over-the-top high-level demon. The palette fits him and allows for when his demeanor changes. His expressions are, just like the character, over the top. There are more than just 2 characters, you say? You mean these guys over here? We'll get to those as we go into the arcs. Every kid has their first day of school, and Iruma is no exception. He makes the decision not to draw attention to himself. The only problem with this plan is everything goes awry. He is absolutely mortified when he was called to the front to make a speech over the head of the class, Asmodeus Alice, who challenges him to a duel in the courtyard. This is when we learn that Iruma can dodge anything. In this world, if you defeat someone, they become your servant. So, now Iruma has to deal with having the head of the class do his bidding. This is also the episode where we bump into Clara, a highly energetic and manic demon. In the second episode of the arc, they summon their familiars. Now, before we continue, let's introduce the teacher of the class, Navarius Gallego. This teacher is straight-laced and has no tolerance for goof-offs or people who show off. In order to summon a familiar, he gives you a piece of paper with his symbol on which you have to place your blood. Don't get ahead of me now! When it's Iruma's turn, the narrator impresses upon us the fact Iruma is a human doing the summoning. When he did the summoning, Gallego pops out of the summoning circle. I don't know about you, but I saw it coming. Oh, the teacher? He's a fluff ball in familiar form, which is hilarious in my opinion. In Iruma and Clara, we really get to see who Clara is and how much energy she has. Energy that seems endless. Iruma also realizes she's being used by the other demons, 3 in particular. We find out that Clara doesn't have friends, only people who use her for her demon ability to manifest anything she has seen. She is shocked to find out Iruma doesn't want her things. He just wants to spend time with her. When Clara realizes this, she tells the bullies to hit the road. You can see the hurt and confusion in Clara's eyes when Iruma refuses her gifts. You can also see when she understands why. Even though she is bubbly and what some would call a ditz, she has an underlying intelligence. In the MIsfit Class, we get introduced to most of the rest of the supporting characters. They highlight 2 in particular, Crocel Kirori and Sabnak Sabro. One has the ambition to be the next Demon King. The other is more subtle. Every time you see people looking at the school paper, she's in the background clenching her fists. We find out why later on in the season. The other half of this episode is the start of the flying race that will determine each student's rank. We see Sabnak take the path that was forbidden, thinking he will go to the finish line faster, only to get in a life or death battle with the Guardian. We see Iruma get pushed off the ledge, and then we don't see anything until the end, where he is taken to the nest of the Guardian of Cutthroat Valley and his daughter, who is injured. Here is where we find out his human blood heals demons. We find out Sabnak's motivation for becoming the Demon King in this episode. It isn't deep. It isn't because of a tragic and somber backstory. It's because he thinks it will be cool. He's an absolute idiot, in my opinion, but you have to have one to fill the quota. Meanwhile, Iruma hitches a ride on the back of the Guardian's daughter, saves Sabnak, and then gets a ride on the Guardian with the big dope to the finish line where they are ridiculed. Now, here's where things get interesting. Everyone has to pull out the symbol of their rank, but Iruma pulls out a ring that eats magic. It incapacitates 2 demons, one being Alice, before Sullivan appears and gives the ring some of his power. Here's the kicker. Sullivan is not incapacitated. As a matter of fact, he isn't affected at all. Keep that in mind for later. In Ameri's theory, we learn that most of the demons in the world think humans are a myth. It is only the upper elite demons who know humans are real, and Ameri fits in that category. Her family has amassed information on humans, which causes Ameri to suspect Iruma is human. If you're wondering what this information entails, it's manga. I'm not kidding. Since she cannot read the language in the manga, she believes humans have a magical power to make one another fall in love. We also see Iruma stand out again in botany class when he turns a seedling into a cherry blossom tree. In what could be the worst timing ever, Sullivan calls him after the fact and tells him not to use the ring because it isn't calibrated. Thanks, Grandpa. At the end of the episode, Ameri bumps into Iruma and thinks she's falling under his spell. First Love Memories is an interesting one. This is where Opera asks Iruma if he wants to return to the human world and explains how to do it. Our helpful narrator shows us the differences between the human world, where he struggled, and the demon world, where he is doted upon and has friends. He begins to wonder if he wants to go back at all. Ameri discovers he can read the manga when the book she is hiding falls out of her uniform. She asks him to read it for research, and he agrees, but they have to do it in secret. While this is going on, Asmodeus and Clara are worried about what Iruma is doing, as he has suddenly changed his habits and doesn't want to hang out with them as much. Following some advice, they decide to tail Iruma and find out. When they see what is going on, we see another side to Clara, jealousy. This is also where Iruma is asked what his dream is. Iruma has never thought about it. He was always too busy doing things for other people that he never once took time to do anything for himself. As far as establishing arcs go, this is pretty standard. What makes it stand out is the way in which it's done. You have a boisterous demon declaring Iruma as a rival, while another sits back and clenches fists for reasons unknown. We have Iruma instilling human values upon the world. Friendship. This is a concept foreign to his friends, but they come to understand it. We see Ameri, who has discovered Iruma is human and has tasked him to help her with the manga. She also looks like she has some feelings for him. Opera has given Iruma a way out, but he must excel at demon school. We are given a hint at Sullivan's power level. We find out Clara has her moments where her airheaded persona fades, and we see that she is smart and intuitive. She doesn't do this often. We also see the beginnings of her feelings for Iruma. There are a lot of stories introduced in this arc, but it is done in a way that isn't overwhelming or too expositional. That is good. The animation was smooth, and I like the backdrops and the side stories as well. As far as world building goes, it was interesting to see the start of it. The interactions of the characters, though wacky in between some, was not forced. The setup was good. The establishment of the rules was solid, and the story was engaging. It kept my attention. The character models were well done and fit the personalities of the characters. I give the arc 4 espresso shots out of 5. The next Season 1 review will be the Execution Cannonball arc and the Battle or Party arc. I know I said I would do the entire season in one video, but this has proven to be too daunting of a task, so I am breaking it up. Future reviews will be 1 or 2 arcs per video, depending on the length of arcs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have anything to add to the conversation, please do so in the comments section below. And I would love to hear your recommendations for future reviews, whether it be anime, television shows, or movies. Ciao! I'd like to take this time to thank you, the viewer, and my supporters whose names are on the screen for watching this video. If you liked it, there's a like button down there, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notified every time there's an upload. There's also a video down below here in the bottom left-hand corner as a suggestion, as well as a couple of places that you can click to subscribe. As I always say, behave, my lovable misfits, and if you can't behave, at least be good at it.